welcome back to episode number 14 of the How to Become a Psychic Medium series. A series in which I will guarantee each and every one of you, if you watch these videos from the start to the finish, and you absorb the content within, I will make you a medium. However, if you are that 1% who thinks that you can just skip parts of the video because you know better, unfortunately, you're probably watching this video because something's going wrong. I can give you the understandings. I can give you everything that you need to be able to succeed in mediumship. But in the first instance, you have to realize the fundamental flaw that most human beings have. We think we don't need to do things. It's very basic. There'll be things that you want to take shortcuts, and there'll be things that, I don't need to do that. The problem is when it comes into mediumship, put it into perspective, mediumship is one of the biggest intricate jigsaws you can ever possibly imagine. And it only takes for that one little jigsaw piece to be out of the overall image to spoil it, to absolutely obliterate it. That's why in the mediumship series, I'm taking my time. I'm making sure we're covering every facet of mediumship to give you the understandings that are going to help you to be able to become not just the best version of yourself, but to become the best medium you could ever be. In this episode, we're going to be tackling the topic of connecting. How to know when you're connected, how to connect. I'm going to go through everything in this video. By the end of this video, you are going to know how to connect to the spirit world. Fun fact, if you've got any fear associated to the spirit world, then you shouldn't watch this video. You should go to the very, very beginning of this course and gain a good understanding. The spirit world might bring a lot of you to this channel. You might just stumble across this video. You may be, this is for me, this is for me. But if you get any element of fear, go to the beginning of the series and you will gain the understanding to go forward with this. When we're speaking about the spirit world and we are connecting on an energetic level. We are gaining evidence, more importantly, because I know mankind have been conditioned to believe that mediumship is a facade, it's a gimmick, it's a party trick. It's so much more. The problem is mankind, like in most cases, their imagination runs amok. And yes, you could argue and say, well, actually, hang on, a medium just imagines things. Yes, a medium does imagine things. But there is a big but here. A medium can bring forward evidence of the afterlife. Irrefutable evidence. Not just this little stuff that you see on TikTok or you see it on Instagram or you see it thrown around where you get these little £5 mini readings and shut the door. Right? You don't want a mini reading. You want a reading. Where did the concept actually come from to give people less of a service than the service you were meant to be offering? It's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And that's why the ideologies of mankind have brought mediumship down from the majestical process to which it once was. And we will make it again magical. But from that, you can see that a lot of the times when it comes into mediumship, it gets put out of your reach. If it's not put out of your reach, it's made so laughable, so disbelievable in some cases, that you either don't want to try it or you just think it's not for you. Or you want to try it, but you don't think you're good enough. First of all, the spirit world will work with each and every one of you. There is not one question, one shadow, one morsel of doubt in my mind that you are watching this video now because you have been led to this channel for a reason. You are going to become a medium. You are going to soar. You are going to help the message of a Help Heal Serve to grow far and wide across this earth plane. You are the new breed. You are the new dawn. You are the new era of medium. Gone are the days where mediums, self-acclaimed mediums, give themselves a title and they give themselves this and they give themselves that. No. That stops now. You give other people. That's the way that this works. See, one of the things when it comes into mediumship, and I get it, right? Mediumship, when it's done right, it's beautiful. And if I'm completely honest with you, there's a lot of people out there who don't care for mankind. They couldn't care less about whether somebody's lost a loved one. They don't care about healing that person. They don't care about the pain that they're going through. They don't care about the suffering that they are enduring. They don't care about their life journey. They don't care about what their next move. They couldn't care less. All they're bothered about is their name or how people perceive them. You are not that person. You have been brought to me for that reason. You are going to not just become a great medium, you are going to get the core values, the ethos, the understandings instilled into the forefront of your mind. That's why when I say you are a new breed of medium, because you are. I got to stress it. There is not going to be another medium like you, and you have to wear that. You have to own that. You have to wear your mediumship with pride. You have to know that this is a journey of not just self-discovery, but this is your journey. This is meant to be your journey. You have found your path. This is your just cause. When it comes to connecting to the spirit world, it can be very difficult for a lot of you. And I'll tell you the reason why. It's not because you're not good enough. It's not because the spirit world hate you. It's not because the spirit world don't like you. It's not because you don't have what it takes. You don't have what Gina down at the Spiritual Church has told you. You don't have that. You do. You have that in abundance. You have the tools that you need. But sadly, through the conditioning of mankind and by some of the ideologies that you have welcomed and practices you have made your own, this is where you are going to fall victim. This is where it's going to be very difficult for you to have that authentic connection, because you have learned these understandings from practitioners who aren't authentic by any stretch of the imagination. What I think it's going to be good for to do is to explain how the connection takes place. And a lot of you, I know I've probably mentioned some of this at some point in this series. Please do forgive us. There's a reason why me and Spirit do things in the way that we do. We don't want to take any of your time if we don't need it, but you've got to remember, sometimes people will just stumble across this video. So I need to give a full blueprint. And if you have heard this before, then tough. You're going to absorb it. It's going to become your ethos. It's the repetition. It's what you need to know. Is it you or is it the spirit world? This is one of the biggest questions that a lot of you are going to ask yourself. How do you know if it's spirit? How do you know if it's your own mind? How do you know if you're wanting that to happen? I'm going to keep it very, 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 very simple. A lot of people will tell you to imagine that the spirit world are drawn close, and all around you you have a fluffy white veil, and through that veil you can feel the vibrations come. Stay away from that bollocks, because literally that person has sold you that ideology. That's not spirit. That is literally mankind massaging their own egos to make themselves look good. Look what I'm going to do. Yes, we are calling upon the archangels. We are moving the light. We are bringing the light towards us. And I can feel a golden light coming down on me. What the bloody hell? No wonder people think mediumship is a laughing stock, because you've got people who practice that. You've got people who preach that. You have people, more importantly, who educate that. Stay away from that, because this is what makes it in the first instance so far out of your reach. Because these people, I could come onto this platform, right, and I could literally sit here for 2 hours long, 3 hours long, and say loads of words, and not because you don't understand because you're silly, but I could use lots of words that you might have not heard before and put them into a context where you'd be like just blown away. You'd be like, wow, mesmerized. And it's called bamboozling. It's where people will just say, and these are the people that you've got to watch out for. That's why you'll never see me on this channel or any other channel saying words, phrases, references in some cases that you won't understand. It's not because you're silly. It's not. We need full transparency. I need you to be able to understand what I know so that you can digest it to do what you need. However, when you have people who want to bamboozle you, do you think that their best interests in those moments are to help yourself? Or do you think it's to make themselves look good? What do you think? Because I'll tell you what I know. Not what I think, what I know. This earth plane is saturated. There is, unfortunately, a plague. Almost I would go as far to say a virus of individuals and practitioners who, it's a free-for-all. They want to be the next best thing. They want to be the next best medium. They want to have this back. When you see people who have in their names, right, the reason why I have psychic medium and just my birth name, Jordan Coburn, the reason why I have that is because if I come on your hand saying my name was Jordan Coburn, there wouldn't be any of you who had any sort of reference or knowledge to what I'd done until you click on my channel and you go, bloody hell, what the hell is this? So you've got to have that in your name. It's like if you are a mechanic, you have to have mechanic in your name. That isn't ego. That is just common sense. If you are a doctor, then guess what? Here presto, a doctor will have doctor in their name. It's not because they're egotistical and they want to look better than everyone else. It is a title for a specific trade or a service you are offering. So I have psychic and medium because I am a psychic and I am a medium. For those of you who don't know, they are very, very different. Very different. We've spoken about it at the beginning of this series, so I'm not going to go over it again. But what you need to watch out for is when you have people who have world-renowned. I've seen some others where they have titles to kind of make them continental medium and greatest medium in the world and all of these different things. And yes, it's a marketing strategy. I get that. I get sometimes these people are marketing themselves as a business. I get that. But to you who is wanting to learn mediumship, that is not going to help you. Because this person is already putting themselves up on a pedestal. They are already superior to you as a human being. And whether they're a nice person or not, I'm not saying all of these people are bad people. I'm not saying that in any way, shape or form. But for you as a beginner, as a learner, looking up to these people like they are gods or looking up to them, it makes it so much more out of your reach. There's going to be a lot of people who don't like what I've just said there. There's going to be a lot of people who've got names in their title that probably aren't going to like it. But at least each and every one of you can see why I despise it. We are all the same. I've said it many, many times again. There shouldn't be a hierarchy of medium. There should be mediums. And when I say a medium, right, you can class yourself, a lot of you might not you might not know when to call yourself medium. For me personally, if you are working with the spirit world and you are actively wanting, needing and trying, I personally think you should be calling yourself a medium. I don't see why you shouldn't. And it's in mediumship, there isn't a time where you will be given the right to earn or to wear that name tag. Like, listen, don't fall into that trap. If my opinion and Spirit's opinion is, if you are working hard with us and you are trying your best and we are working in unison, then you give yourself that title. You don't need any one of mankind to tell you that that's your title. You give yourself it. Now, we're not saying put greatest medium in the head, but call yourself a medium. One of the biggest things with mediumship is accepting that the spirit world are there. You'd be very surprised, right, at how many mediums don't believe that there is a spirit world. They'll just kind of wing it. They'll say a few hedge words. They'll be like, "Oh, I've got a lady coming through," And then one day they actually hear a spirit and they're like, what the hell just happened there? Whoa, it's real, it's real. It's true, it's true. So please, if you learn anything from this video, know that not only are you good enough, but by you accepting your responsibility and taking pride in your abilities to be able to communicate on behalf of the spirit world, this is going to catapult you through those dire times, those times of despair, because a lot of you see mediumship as being fluffy, duffy, light, because you've been told it's like that. Listen, honestly, wake up. It's got nothing to do with fluffy, duffy lights. There's no rainbows, there's no clouds. This is grueling. Becoming a medium is about refining yourself as a person. That there in the first instance, for a lot of you, is going to be an absolute train wreck, because you're going to realize the person that you are. And not saying that you're a horrible person, I don't mean it like that, but we all have flaws that we don't want to face. When you come into mediumship, you have no other option. You can't just, again, this isn't on your terms. I say it on all of these videos. You don't dictate this process. You are there to work with spirit, and you are there to put the hard work, the time and the effort in. And yes, it will be magical, and yes, it will flow, but you don't determine it. It is about you refining yourself as a person so that we can then start using you to become the conduit to the message, so that we can use you in a more fluent way. Again, to each and every one of you, if you wonder why I speak in the third person, it's because spirit just jumped through us. They can. It's the connection that I have. It's the way that I work with them. So we've covered there quite a bit. There's been quite a bit there. Let's now start tackling how the information comes to the human form. I do have, I'm not, spirit are telling us not to actually. I was going to draw a picture and spirit are like, don't, you're not very good at drawing. I'm not, to be fair. If you think all around me, I have what is called the auric field. And around that auric field, we have an abundance of energy. It's everywhere. Like the air that we breathe. Technology in this modern day and age can reveal it and show it. And scientists to this day still can't destroy energy, which is absolutely awesome for the rest of us anyway. But one of the things that you have to realize is when it comes into energy, we have what are called clairsenses. There are many different clairsenses. We're doing actually full videos on them on this channel. So this isn't a video for breaking them down. But what I want you to do is to picture this bottle being a human form. All around this bottle, we have an aura. Now, all of this void and empty space, you see all of this around? This is energy. When the spirit world want to get a message to you, what happens is the energy comes from spirit. Now, whilst I'm putting my hand coming down, the spirit world aren't in heaven, they're not in hell. They're here, they're omnipresent. And now they're watching, fun fact, they're watching this video with you. They've brought you to my channel. What will happen is energy will come down, for this example, and it will enter the auric space of the human form. Then what will happen is depending on what you are most prevalent with in terms of your clairsense, that energy that has come into your auric space is then going to be filtered out like through a filtration system into your clairsense for you to decode. That's how the energy comes to you. But let's now talk about how to know whether it is spirit or whether it is your own mind. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Sorry, the energy got really intense there. Sometimes it's the energy gets really intense. And it doesn't matter how many times you do this, like there'll be a lot of people who are like, oh, maybe you're not very good at it. It's literally, it's not the fact that I'm not good at it. It's what you've got to understand is it's a very different process to what any of you may be familiar with. When you channel energy and spirit just jump through you to speak, it takes a lot out of you. I often say it to people, like, when I come in front of the camera, I've got an abundance of energy, which I do. I've always got loads of energy. But when I come off camera, that spirit energy that I've been using, when the spirit will have come through me and they've spoken, I'm depleted. So by the end of this video, by the time that I get to the end of this video, I'll come off camera and I'll go straight to sleep, because you just feel absolutely physically, mentally drained. But hey ho, we've got to do what we've got to do to get the job done. Okay, so is it spirit or is it you? Well, there's a very, very easy way to look at this in the first instance. To any one of you who wonder if it's spirit or is it you, in those moments, what were you thinking of? Because you are in control of your vessel. You are in control. You are at the helm of that ship. It is you who is navigating yourself through those troubling waters of life. Therefore, in a mediumistic sense, you are navigating the spiritual field. It is you. Sorry, the energy's gotten really intense. You are the one who is navigating. Therefore, you are in control. Not the spirit world. The spirit world aren't in control. They don't need to be in control. They are backseat drivers in your journey of life. They are going to be at the back telling you little bits of information, do this, do that. If you want to do it, you'll do it. If you don't want to listen, you won't do it. It's that simple. However, there's a very, very clear, defined way for you to be in control in those moments. In those moments, were you thinking of the spirit world? You have to think of I know spirit, I know I can't do this, but it's kind of, think of it like this. What I want you to do for this example is to think of my hand. I've got the left hand side, which is probably your right, and I've got the right hand side, which is probably your left. Now, when we are working with spirit, we want to effectively use this side. When we are working with the human form and our everyday thinking, we've got to try and split it. Now, technically, the reason why spirit are telling us not to say that is because that's not how it works. But as a reference point, you are going to see the point that I'm trying to portray. Your mind, there has to be a shift. There has to be a shift mechanic. There has to be something that changed the cognitive function that you are going through as a human being. Because you can't just, if you are wanting to connect, when you get to my level or you get to many other people's levels where they can bring forward evidence of the afterlife, you just live. Like, seriously, you just go through the motions of life. You don't need to think about it or anything. But at the beginning of your journey, you have to refine yourself so that you know when it is of spirit or when it is of your own mind. By doing that, it is going to give you the evidence. It's going to give you the ability to know when it is the spirit world or when it is your own mind. Sorry, this video, the energy is really intense for this video. I think as well, to be honest, whilst the energy, I don't think it's because the energy is super strong. I think what's happening is because I've been a little bit poorly, and I think I've probably rushed and come in and doing the video a little bit too soon, and maybe it's caught us off guard a bit, channeling the energy and stuff like that. Yeah, well, to be fair, like, spirit did tell us not to do it, but sometimes we listen, sometimes we don't. We've mentioned there about you are in control, and we've also mentioned there that you need to know a shift. There has to be a shift within the way that you think. That shift is very simple, and we need to keep it very simple and very basic. That shift is, are you thinking of spirit? If the answer is yes, everything that comes through in those moments. But don't worry, we're going to do an exercise for this. But everything that comes through in those moments, you need to know that that was spirit. Were you not thinking of spirit in those moments? Well, again, if that's the case, you need to know that everything that's coming through is not of spirit. When you are thinking of spirit, it's like spirit are telling us it's like a communication with a human being. You could have a human being in front of you, but if you don't say a word to them or you don't do a facial expression or something, there's going to be no connection. There's going to be nothing taking place. The same with the spirit world. What a great analogy. Well, that's great. Exactly the same with the spirit world. They're already there. They're already looking at you. You're already looking at them. However, there is nothing taking place until you incite something, until you place your intent. The second your intent shifts, and we are now thinking of spirit, you have engaged in a conversation. Think of somebody sitting opposite you now, and both of you are just sitting, staring at each other and looking. One of you would have to make the first move. One of you would have to say something. Otherwise, you'd both sit in silence. Well, for spirit, this is in the same instance. Think of that person sitting opposite you being the spirit world. We want to engage in a conversation with the spirit world. Therefore, we place our intent. We think of spirit. That's all you need to do. Think of spirit, ready to receive. By thinking of spirit, that is placing your intent. Your intent is like the hello to the little person sitting opposite you. Now spirit are going to start communicating. In those moments, you know that everything that you are receiving is of spirit. That's as simple as it gets. Like seriously, and I know there's going to be a lot of you who are like, no, it needs to be more difficult than that. But that's the human logic. The human logic believes that this needs to be difficult because you've watched educators, you've watched Hollywood, you've watched all of these different people who've kept this out of your reach. The individuals who practiced mediumship many years ago who kept it all away from you, who could have told you all of this, but they didn't tell you this. Why? Because they wanted to look good. They wanted them to be the keepers of the light or whatever. But listen, at the end of the day, we don't get forever on this life. So it holds no one any value stopping you from connecting to your loved ones. If you can connect to your loved ones for free in the comfort of your own home, and that's one thing that we at Help Heal Serve can help bring to this planet, then we're going to do it. It's about time that somebody helped mankind to be able to help themselves. It's about time that somebody broke the mold. It's about time that somebody didn't care about what these schools, what these other people thought. We're not here to be people's friends. We're not here to conform. We're here to raise the bar. We're here to set the standard in mediumship. We're here to make mediumship beautiful again. And each and every one of you are going to find that you are helping this journey. You are the ones who are going to be spearheading Help Heal Serve. We always get quite passionate when we start talking about that, because it was, I remember when me and Spirit, we brought the message of Help Heal Serve. I remember the first day when Spirit told us the message of Help Heal Serve, and I was just blown away by it, because I thought in those moments, I was like, it's so beautiful. And then when that explained it, it was even more. I've got to be honest, I think I probably cried a little bit, like, oh, like seriously, when they originally said it and they explained why it was like that, because it meant more of a message to us. It meant it's quite hard hitting when you think about what the message of Help Heal Serve is. It's not a gimmick, it's not a phase, it's not just something to look good, a logo or branding. It holds significant value and significant meaning to one's ability to grow in the materialistic. This is something that is going to be long gone after I'm off this planet. And this is something that each and every person on this planet can learn from. You can all become mediums. You can all. But that being said, whilst you can all do it, don't think it's going to be easy. Just because I can help you and just because the Spirit will show you, this isn't meant to be an easy journey by any stretch. So anyway, before we go off on another rant, because I get so many people asking why it's not easy and why you can't get the lottery numbers and why you can't get this, and it's like, come on, don't waste me time with them sorts of questions. Like seriously, yeah, I don't mind genuine questions, But if you just want cheat codes to life, then unfortunately that's your disarray. That's got nothing to do with me. I'm not even going to entertain that energy. That's not a problem. Let's recap on what we've spoken about there. We've explained how energy enters the human form, how it will be decoded by your clair abilities. We've got many videos on the clair abilities. Try not to look too much into the clair abilities, not at this stage. We've also mentioned there about the intent. We've also mentioned about the communication starting with the spirit world. And we've also mentioned how we have to make sure that when we've placed our intent, we are engaging in conversation. That being said, just like a normal conversation with a human being, you are going to ask questions. You don't have to ask them out loud, but you can just think it. So if I was going to show you an example there, but I would have to literally say it out loud for the example, or I would just look even weirder than what I normally do. God, the energy is really intense tonight, but I think it's because my immune system's a little bit low and it's not fully where it needs to be. Spirit will laugh and saying, yep, we did tell you not to make a video. But that's why I've been making more funny faces. Anyway, I said that we were going to do a little bit of an example, a little bit of a tutorial for each and every one of you. So why don't we do it? What we're going to do for this one is very, very simply show you how to connect, how to not connect, and how to ask for information. A lot of you will try this for the first time and you'll get a crap ton of information coming to you. Seriously, you'll get a lot of information coming to you. But that's because you're ready. It's not because you're special. It's not because you got magic abilities. It's because it's the right time. That being said, there's going to be a lot of you who try this and it might not work first time. Remember, that's not because there's something wrong with you. That's not because you aren't good enough. It's very, very simple. It's just not the right time. You keep trying. Again, if you are wanting an easy ride in mediumship and everything needs to be straightforward and everything should be easy, I would recommend you not to do mediumship, because mediumship is going to become the main frustrating thing that you'll ever come across, because you don't get this. Takes time, and a lot of us are impatient. I'm impatient, very impatient to say the least, but I've had to kind of come to terms with that I'm impatient and learn ways to not be as impatient. I'm still impatient, but it's something that each and every one of you are going to have to come to terms with. If I can come to terms with it and I can manage to deal with it and I can prove with evidence that I can prove that this works, then each and every one of you have no excuse. You can all become patient. What we'll do for this exercise is I need to do a bit of a disclaimer. So if there's any of you who are doing anything that takes your undivided attention, you're driving the car, anything like that, then I wouldn't recommend you to take part in this exercise. Maybe it's when you get home and you've got a little bit of time. This isn't a meditation. I'm trying to stay away from meditations for doing these sorts of exercises. It isn't going to help you by me doing a meditation, because I need you to be able to connect like this. You are part of the Help Heal Serve family. You will connect like this because you have a good understanding. We don't want you sitting 30 and 40 minutes to prepare to get yourself ready before doing readings. That's just ridiculous. That's 30 or 40 minutes of your life. That's gone. It was unnecessary. What I'd like you to do now, if it's safe to do so, is all I'm going to ask you to do is to simply close your eyes. Close your eyes and listen to my voice. As you're listening to my voice now, this is the normal. This is your everyday life. This is where you are living out your sensory existence within the materialistic plane. This is everything that you have come to know. This is how you process sound. This is how you process noise, light, and all the different things. The materialistic item in your hand that's given EMF signals off. It's your body's decoding loads of different things. That's great. What I would like you to do now is very, very simply, you are going to place your intent. I want you to ask the spirit world in your mind. I want you to ask the spirit world to come to you now and to reveal their face. This might be scary to a lot of you. You might not want to do this. So maybe change the wording to whatever suits you. It might not need to be a face. It might just be a sound, a name, a smell. Ask them to reveal something to you during this. And I'm going to ask my spirit team now to come close to each and every one of you and to help each and every person who is watching this video to be able to connect to whoever it is that they need. I call upon the spirit world and the realms to come forward to me now to aid me with this exercise. Vini ad minuk modo spirituum et regina. You have placed your intent. Look for the imagery. Look for any sort of symbiology, sounds. When you see that symbiology, when you see that face, when you see a loved one, speak. Do not hold your voice. Speak. Speak out loud. Speak in your mind. Ask them how they're doing. Get that conversation going. Don't be scared of it. This is what you have to do. If you are somebody who isn't seeing anything, take a deep breath and do it again. Not a meditation. We're not doing meditations here. I don't want any of you needing to do meditations before you connect. That there, you are now connected. Because you have placed your intent, everything that you are gaining, you are seeing, then that is for you. That is from the spirit world. Then what you can do now is open your eyes and you are back in the room. You are back living your normal life. Did you see how quick that was? Did you see how there was no magic that needed to happen? There was no spells. There was no potions, lotions, theories. It was straight to the point. Is the biggest thing that I need to point out. How many points I'm going to say? I had to stop myself because I nearly said point there. That is no BS. Clarity, direction and purpose. If you are somebody who didn't see something there, you don't need to watch this video again. Just do what I've said. Just simply place your intent. Sit for a minute and just anything that comes into your mind, welcome it. Accept it. Acknowledge it. Ask more questions. If you are... Right, let's just package it in a little bit of a different way, Spirit. If you are the shy kid at a school, and I use schools a lot because a lot of you will be able to find this familiar. We've all felt vulnerable. We've all been in that sort of environment. So that's why I kind of go to school, because it kind of hits home with a lot of people. And you go into the school and you are a shy person. You don't talk to anyone. Are you going to be the coolest kid in that school? Unfortunately not. The moral of the story is that child could have been, but because of the characteristics of the human form and the way they had been conditioned, they were shy, they were an introvert, they didn't want to be that cool kid, which is fine, but when you are coming into mediumship, you have to be that cool kid with the spirit world. You have to be the cool kid because you want to be there for the spirit world. You want them to know they can come to you. What good is it to the spirit world coming to you if you're shy? Think about it realistically, right? What is the point of the spirit world giving you energy, giving you information to pass on to their loved one in front of you if you're shy and you don't want to speak? How are you going to gain information from the spirit world if you don't want to ask the questions? Coming back to the analogy at the school. Yes, a lot of you might be shy. But by accepting that you are shy, then you are potentially severing any connection or any development that you are going to have, because you are just accepting you're shy and you're an introvert. No, you come out that bloody shell. You need to be that cool kid in the school. You need to own mediumship. By owning mediumship, you need to accept your flaws as a human being. If you're shy, that is a flaw. That is a downright flaw. And for anyone who thinks, oh, well, you know, I'm just a shy person, Jordan, there's nothing. No, that attitude is what is not going to help you to succeed. That attitude, by you accepting that you can't change it when you can, is the problem here. Everything about you as a person, you can change. Everything. I don't accept that you can't. I know you can. And it's about accepting what we need to change is the first step in the right direction to becoming a better medium. I know there's going to be a lot of you who may think, well, actually, there's nothing wrong with being shy, Jordan. I get it, yeah. That I'm not saying in the materialistic life there's nothing wrong with being shy. If you want to be a shy introvert in your everyday life, then you do that. But when you are coming into this game and you are wanting to become an authentic medium, you can't be that person. And a lot of you might get disheartened when I say that. But I've got to be honest. If you are shy, whatever you are in this life, okay, let us repackage it in this way as well, so it kind of makes a little bit more sense. Whatever you are, I should have probably had a drink first, shouldn't I? Whatever you are in this life, it's mirrored into your mediumship. You see it all of the time, right? You'll see people who are mediums, and they're lovely. They're just lovely people. But you see them when they're not practicing mediumship and they're a horrible person. You can't be like that. Because not only are mankind wise to it, it isn't good for your ethos. It isn't good for people thinking you're approachable. People aren't going to come to you with their problems if they know that you're a lovely person during the reading, but after you're reading, you're slagging them off and you're doing all these different things. That's why, please don't take it as me being, I don't want you to think I'm trying to offend you, because I'm not. But I won't accept and I don't tolerate that you can't change. If you are wanting to become a medium, and you are wanting to gain information from the spirit world, and you are wanting to bring forward evidence of the afterlife, then you have to make changes to you as a person. That's why I said at the beginning of this video, this is refining yourself as a person. And we'll cover this at the very beginning of the series, but refining yourself as a person is more damaging than any of the relationship breakthroughs that you've been through, any of the friendship breakups, because you are looking at yourself through the eyes of another. You are scrutinizing yourself in a good way, because we are ironing out the kinks. We are ironing out the flaws. Yeah. Remember, when you're connected to the spirit world, in those moments, are you thinking of spirit? If I'm sat here now and I wanted to connect to the spirit world, this would be my first thing to do. Close my eyes. And you don't have to always close your eyes, but in the first instance, at the beginning of your development, it's a good practice to, because it's sensory deprivation. If your eyes are closed, then you're going to start focusing in on your other senses. So, first thing I would do is close my eyes. I would take a little bit of a deep inhale, and I'd just relax my mind. Just relax my mind. Now, I'm still in the materialistic, but I'm starting to zone out a little bit. And then I'm going to take everything through intent to the spirit world. So there's going to be a shift in my brain pattern. I'm now going to spirit. So I'm going to ask the spirit world, is there any information that you want to give me now? I'm now waiting. I'm now getting ready to see images. I'm now getting ready to receive anything. Once I'm finished, thank you. That's it. Now, if I start seeing them images now, and I start seeing things, I say to spirit, no, don't accept that. And that's what each and every one of you've got to do. because the spirit world are little chatterboxes. They will just happily show you things. And it's not because they're showing you it all the time. It's because you've got to understand the energy's all around you. You are going to be naturally be starting to pick up on different pieces of energy that's just all around you. So you need to know as a medium when it is of spirit or when it is of your own mind. If you're not thinking of spirit and you're seeing things, that's your own mind. That's the way you've got to look at it. And sometimes, in some cases, you'll be like, oh, that was definitely my granddad John. Oh, that was definitely Frank. That was definitely David. Oh, this was definitely Mary. But tough. You can't accept that. In those moments, you did not ask for that. Therefore, you do not accept it as being evidence. If you don't follow that ideology, if you don't follow that ethos, you're going to find very, very quick on in your mediumship, like many, many other mediums do, and that's why they fail. You don't know if it's spirit and you don't know if it's you. That is the biggest problem. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that get caught out by even renowned, acclaimed mediums. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that video. A little bit of a chilled pace, because I have been a little bit poorly lately. Well, not lately. Maybe it's about the last 2 days. Made it sound proper dramatic there, didn't I? Like little violins, like, oh, should have come on like that, shouldn't I? Like little. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section when you're done the exercise. Let me know if you've seen anything. Let me know if you didn't see anything. But remember, like anything in this life, anything that takes time, anything that is good will take time. Anything that's just quick and easy, it's not worth anything at all. If you did like this video, remember to check out the other videos on the channel. If you haven't subscribed, then consider subscribing. If you did like this content, remember to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. And until the next time, bye-bye for now. Oh, and check out videos up there and there if you want to. Bye-bye.